Okay, we're going to go ahead and start this up. I think it's right about time. I want to thank everyone for coming to the 2015 mayoral debate. This is being sponsored by the Peru Tribune and the Miami County Chamber of Commerce. I'm the moderator, Lois Tomaszewski. I'm the editor of the Peru Tribune, and I'm sure a lot of you have not seen my face since I've been there since November. With me is our timekeeper, Sandy Chittum, with the Chamber of Commerce, and videotaping this is Rose Boyette. She's a film production and political science major at Huntington University and a Peru resident, and in full disclosure, she is my daughter. You have to get help where you can get it. She works cheap. Which we're going to try to post this tonight, so check our website, giving any technical glitches. It should be up this evening. And we also are covering this debate as well for the paper, and we will summarize some of the questions and responses in Sunday's edition. I would also like to thank Ivy Tech for allowing us to take over their auditorium this evening. I also want to thank Miami County Deputy Clerk of Elections, Paul Wilson, who is on hand to do voter registration. He has a area set up outside where you can register to vote, and if you have not registered to vote, you should really seriously consider it, because that is the best way to make sure that the candidate of your choice is elected to office. We all should appreciate and respect these local residents who seek to serve the city of Peru as mayor. With that in mind, I ask each of you tonight to also respect the candidates by politely turning off your cell phones, or at least putting them on vibrate if you are expecting an important call. If you have to get up during the forum, please move as quietly as possible, and so we can get to as many questions as possible in the allotted time. Please hold your applause until after each candidate's closing statement. We asked for questions from the community, and they delivered. We had several dozen questions submitted. None of the candidates have any knowledge of these questions, and all of the questions are in a format that would be fair to all the candidates. There's not a question targeted to a certain candidate. So here are the ground rules for tonight's debate. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to introduce themselves with an opening remark. The candidates will then have 3 minutes each to answer questions submitted by the readers. The first candidate to answer the question, so like in other words, for the first question, the first candidate answers, the other two answer the same question. If the first candidate would like to rebut something that was said, they have that opportunity, but it is only 30 seconds. Each candidate will also have 1 minute to make a closing statement at the end of the debate. The candidates drew numbers before tonight's debate to determine who will answer the first question. We will rotate who responds first after each question. Please remember that we are here to discuss important issues, not to get into personal matters. We will most likely not have time to take questions from the audience. However, there are index cards and pens on the refreshment table. Please place these cards in one of the blue bags after you write your question on it. I am hoping that I'll be able to poll the candidates after tonight with those same questions and have their answers. We'll publish those in the Peru Tribune a couple times a week, up until the time of election. To help the candidates stay on track, Sandy will signal the candidates when they have 1 minute remaining by ringing the bell one time. When the bell rings twice, your time is up. So we ask each candidate to please be respectful of each other's time. Let's start with the candidate introductions, and for this, we went in alphabetical order. So, Mr. Bunker, you will start with an introduction.
My name is Wayne Bunker. I'm a lifelong resident of Peru, Indiana. I'm 64 years old. I went to Peru High School, graduated Peru High School. Jim and I graduated in the same class, as a matter of fact. I'm a Vietnam era veteran. I never actually got sent to Vietnam. I got the lucky straw on that one. But I'm a Vietnam era veteran. I have an accounting degree and a management degree from Indiana University. I completed teachers training for economic sociology and U.S. history from Ball State. Never applied to graduate. And I have a master's degree from Indiana Wesleyan in accounting and management. I invest in Peru. We have a lot of rentals in Peru. I buy a lot of times the worst of the worst houses, and I fix them up to try to improve our assessed values for the community. Currently, I am an instructor at Ivy Tech. This semester I'm teaching the advanced accounting class and the class below that, and I'm also teaching an economics class this semester. A little bit about my background. I was, they call it the chief financial officer now. I was a business manager at Peru Community Schools in the late 90s, and I was in the school board in the early 90s, being elected president of the school board 4 times. I was a custom home builder about 25 years until the 2008 recession hit us and took us out. I truly have a desire to serve the community. As I look back, I have seen our community decline for many reasons, and I have a community survey that was put out, so most of my platform came from the community survey. Thank you.
Our next candidate is Mr. Greer.
Hi, my name is Gabriel Greer. I was born here in Peru. I grew up in Mexico and went to school at North Miami. After school, went to IUK and then Ball State, where I studied journalism for 4 years. When I came home to Peru, I got involved with the city council, running with that, and I have seen a lot of missed opportunities on my time on city council, and a lot of frustration with what hasn't happened, and that's why I'm running for mayor here in Peru.
Mr. Walker.
Good evening. My name is Jim Walker. I'm married to Tyra. We've been married for 33 years. 2 grown children. I have a son-in-law, Jacob. 2 grandsons, a step-grandson, and we enjoy spending quite a bit of time with them. As far as my background, I spent 12 years on the Peru City Council, 8 years as chairman, and I became the mayor here in Peru in 2004. I'm in my 12th year as mayor. Prior to that, I worked for AT&T for 33 years, retiring in 2004, or the first day of 2004. And when I started out, I was what they call the switching equipment technician. When I retired, I was the area manager for Northern Indiana. So I also have been involved with other things in the community. One of the accomplishments being the Peru Depot restoration group that I founded called Our Town Peru Incorporated. Bought that building in 1989. We spent 18 months working on it and restored it and made it a great addition to our community. I've also been involved with Ole Olson Memorial Theater for 44 years. And I was part of the team on that restored the Cole Porter birthplace. I believe if you're going to be a part of the community, or be in the community, you ought to be a part of the community. And I have tried to do that in my entire life, getting involved with many projects that benefited our community. I thank you all for being here this evening. This is going to be a great event. I hope you get a lot of good information this evening to help you make your decision. So let's get started.
Okay, as determined by the number draw, the first candidate to answer the first question will be Mr. Greer. And the second candidate for the next question, well, the first candidate for the next question will be Mr. Bunker, and then the third question will be answered first by Mr. Walker. Provide some examples of the issues with which you agreed or disagreed with regarding the actions of the City Council.
One of the more recent things I disagreed with was the yard sale permit fee. There's a lot of people in our community who subside on very little money to get by, and if you have to go to City Hall, pay $5 to get a permit to have a yard sale, it becomes one more thing on a list of things that doesn't seem to be get done through the week, and you end up not having the yard sale here in Peru. You might end up taking your stuff and putting it with your sister's yard sale out of town. And I think that's a detriment not only to the people who are trying to have yard sales to make a little bit extra money, but also if we start not having as many yard sales, there's a lot of people in the community that come into our town to go yard selling on Saturdays. One of the things I would say I agreed with, well, I'm on the city council. Just the last meeting, there's many things that I have agreed with. Can't think of anything like a big, this is something I really agree with. recently with the administration, with Walker's. But there's been many times when I feel like if I didn't agree with something that was brought before the city council, I was able to bring different ideas, and not just say, I don't agree with this, we shouldn't do this, I'm going to be a naysayer. I brought other ideas to the city council and said, what about this? Can we look at this? And I think that's an important quality in a leader, to not just disagree, but to compromise and bring your own ideas to the table if you don't agree with somebody.
One of the items that I disagree with the city council was the trash fee. I had a remonstrance against the trash fee, had 39 signatures against the trash fee. At the time, when they imposed the trash fee, I presented documentation to the council, like I have back here tonight, if anybody wants to see what I have back here about the decade of change. Most of them didn't even look at it. One who did look at it disagreed with the numbers. We were told at the time that the trash service would have to be shut down because of lack of funds that year, when in fact the general fund that year went up over $120,000, and the next year the general fund went up about $500,000. That's one main item I disagree with. I think they have raised the permit fees too high. They have now, for a commercial building, raised the permit fee to $1,000 if it's a certain size. I think that's a little difficult for a lot of small business owners that have a big building. I think the council overall has tried to look out after Peru, but it just hasn't been done effectively as it could have been done. Thank you.
When we talk about disagreeing, one thing that is a certainty in government is that you will never have everyone agreeing on every topic. That is just part of government. You have to accept that. There may be a time when the city council has voted something through that maybe I didn't agree with 100%, but I respect their right to have a different opinion than I do. If you're sitting there as mayor, if you disagree with it strongly, you have the right to veto that. I have not done that. So we have given them the right to express their opinions, because you as the voters elected them to do so. So I applaud the difference of opinion as long as it is done professionally. So to sit here and say, I'm going to find fault with the city council in some topic, I wouldn't do that, because I respect their opinion to be different. We're never going to always agree in anything. Any committee that you're on, you're not going to agree to everything. That's part of the process. But let us have legitimate debate and come with a solution that's in the best interest of the community.
This question will be directed at Mr. Bunker, and then followed by Mr. Walker and Mr. Greer. What will be done to attract new businesses, and what plans can be put into place to bring new business into Peru?
One thing I have proposed to attract new businesses is to create a position called the Peru Revitalization and Development Coordinator. That position would be funded by monies that would eliminate one secretary at City Hall and put an administrative assistant in, and I'm willing to cut the mayor's salary $13,000 to have the funds to pay the coordinator. I think that we need a coordinator that looks out after Peru, not just Miami County, because I have data again that shows Peru as a whole has been going backwards on a continual basis, and we need to stop the backwards decline, because if we don't, not only is city government in trouble, but the schools are in trouble, and the county itself will eventually be in trouble, because our assessed valuations for this town has went back 31% in the last 8 years. We've lost $95 million worth of assessed value in this town. There's no town around us, 11 towns, that have went backwards as fast as Peru has. So I'm looking to try to get somebody in that can look out after the interest of Peru and Peru only, and that individual will also work with the Miami County Economic Development Authority. Thank you.
I think the plans that are in place to attract economic development are working. Do you win in every one you go after? No. But I can tell you, just in the past couple of years, We were in negotiation with a Fortune 50 company, top 50 company in the world. This is a global company. We were one of the finalists to discuss them coming to our community. Now, we still have a confidentiality agreement with that company, so I can't divulge their name in settings such as this. But all of the things that we did, when we asked why we did not get selected, they told us it's not because Peru didn't have a good plan. We think you had a great opportunity for us there, and it was very well received. The problem is the state did not come up with enough state credits for us to locate in your community. So to say we're not getting the right things done, the people in the right places, they're there. We're in negotiation with another company now. Will we get it? We don't know. But when I hear people say we need to cut back on spending or not saving enough or not having a little bit extra in the budget each year, if you don't have money in the budget, you're sure not going to get to the table with these folks. Because when they come in, I need that road repair, I need this gas line relocated, we need to have some moving assistance. They ask for a lot of things, and if you're going to operate and say we don't want any kind of surplus, how are you going to be effective to get them to the community? They are coming here. We're a small community. I'm proud of the players we have. The structure is there. The opportunities that have presented themselves to us, we just haven't hit the home run yet, but it's there.
Well, and I agree that at the state level we've had some issues getting help bringing in businesses, but there are many cities in the state that are thriving and are doing better. I think Kokomo is a great example of a mayor with the right attitude and the right vision, bringing in business and bringing in development. What's going to bring in business for Peru is going to be higher quality of life. We are losing a